You know, with the recent news of Manny Pacquiao talking to a news organization in the Philippines and saying that if anybody fails a drug test, they should be fined $5 million. And, I just think that's a good thing. I think, it shows he wants to make the fight. I think the fine is actually too small. It should be a lot more than that. Based on what they're going to be making from the fight, $5 million seems like a drop in the ocean. So I would actually want there to be fined even more money, because a fight of this magnitude, we don't want anybody to be taking any illegal substances, right? We want them to both be clean, and we want to see a clean fight. Now that's all well and good, but I just have to sit back and say, is this coming from the guy who ran away from a blood test in 2009? I don't know. I might be mistaken. I'm just wondering, is this the same Pacquiao? See, because I don't know, because I've been watching fights before, and I've seen Pacquiao fighting on the same card, and I've seen a guy who was a mini Pacquiao who looked the same as Pacquiao. So, I'm just sitting here, I'm just wondering, is this the same Pacquiao who in 2009 refused to take random blood and urine testing? Because we all saw the excuses. We all saw the excuses, and we saw the diehard idiots who backed up those excuses, right? We saw them. It was all about how, he's scared of needles, but he has tattoos. And it was about how when he gives blood, it makes you weak, but you're bleeding all over the ring versus Juan Manuel Marquez. We saw the excuses. And of course, people backed you up. They said you didn't have to take the blood test. They said that Mayweather was in the wrong because he didn't make the rules. See, that's what they said. They say he didn't make the rules. They treat this guy like a child. They said, it's okay, Manny, you don't have to take the blood test because you're scared of needles. Mayweather's wrong anyway. He's not the commission. But then all of a sudden, you're sleeping in 2012, sleeping on the job. You've been put to sleep by Juan Manuel Marquez. You're out cold, comatose. And after that, all of a sudden, you want to make Brandon Rios take the test. All of a sudden, Timothy Bradley has to take the test. But it's funny, though. When Pacquiao asks for Brandon Rios to take the test, nobody says he doesn't make the rules. When he says Timothy Bradley should take the test, nobody says Pacquiao's not the commission. At that point, it's okay, just give him a pass. They should take the test because Pacquiao asked them to take the test. What's wrong with them taking the test? If they want to prove that they're clean, they should take the test. But when Mayweather says take the test, oh, Mayweather's not the commission. Mayweather doesn't make the rules. Pacquiao's never failed the drug test. Well, Timothy Bradley's never failed the drug test. Why did you make Timothy Bradley take the test? But see, it's okay when Pacquiao does it, but it's not okay when Floyd does it, because it's always one thing for Floyd and it's one thing for Pacquiao. So, of course, they came out saying these are all the reasons why Pacquiao shouldn't take the test, right? Freddie Roach came out saying there's no need to take Olympic-style drug testing. Pacquiao says he's not the commission. You all gave these guys a pass. Any group of people who are looking at this fight and the negotiations of this fight, if they have an objective mind, they're going to look at this and say, this dude did not take the drug test. That's why the fight didn't happen the first time. They're going to say, this guy, Manny Pacquiao, did not take the test. He refused to take random blood and urine testing. That's why the fight didn't happen in 2009. That's what they're going to say. But of course, the diehard idiots that roll with this guy gave him a pass. They were able to actually say, you don't need to take that test. Mayweather's the one in the wrong. You don't need to take the test. It's okay because you're scared of needles. It's okay because you're superstitious. You see, these are the excuses that came out. Now he's talking about there should be a $5 million fine. And instantly they're saying, oh, Pacquiao is probably saying that because Mayweather's on drugs. So you see how this situation unfolds. When Pacquiao says there should be a fine for somebody who fails the test, oh, that's probably because Mayweather's on steroids. Mayweather's on drugs. Of course, when Mayweather says, do you mind taking the random blood and urine testing? I'm going to do the same. It's all about how he's not the commission. He doesn't make the rules. What right does he have to say that? When Pacquiao then says to Brandon Rios, after he's been put to sleep in 2012, when he says to Brandon Rios, hey, take the test. When he says to Timothy Bradley, hey, take the test. It's all about how if they want to prove that they're clean, they should take the test. So nobody's talking about Pacquiao's not the commission. Nobody's talking about Pacquiao doesn't make the rules. See how everything just changes when it's done by Pacquiao. It's also different when he does it. In 2009, it was unreasonable, quote unquote unreasonable, when Floyd says, do you mind taking the random blood and urine testing? That's the only thing that prevented this fight happening in 2009. These dudes walked away from that test. But see, then it was unreasonable. Then, of course, he gets put to sleep, and it's no longer unreasonable for Pacquiao to demand the same thing from his opponents. And now it's not unreasonable for him to demand $5 million penalties if you fail a drug test. But it's unreasonable when Floyd says, take the test. And of course, you did everything you could. You did all the mental gymnastics to show how Pacquiao didn't have to take the test in 2009. And this is what I find funny. This is what I find absolutely funny. And it's why this thing can never be taken seriously. See, this is the thing I talk about. They treat this guy like a child. They treat this guy, he's a grown man. They treat him like a child. They give him passes because he goes in the media and he smiles in front of them. And he acts so foolish that they actually look at this guy. They look at how childlike he is and they give him a pass every single time. So it's okay for him not to take the test because he's Pacquiao. It's okay for him to make demands because he's Pacquiao. It's okay for him to do all of these things. He's consistently given a pass for everything he does. But when Floyd does the same thing, it's wrong for him to make those demands. It's wrong for him to do that. We already know why this is the case. We know that these people aren't really fans of Manny Pacquiao. Because if they were fans of Pacquiao, his fight with Chris Algieri, which was a cherry pick, wouldn't have done 300,000 pay-per-views, which were retarded numbers. Okay? I don't care whether he fights in China. You made the decision to fight in China, not me. Don't blame me. You went over to China and your fans didn't buy the fight because it was a cherry pick. So it's not even that these people are fans of Pacquiao. Because if you were a real fan, you would have paid for his fight regardless. What you are is you just hate Floyd Mayweather, and we understand why. Because we know it's not even about boxing. We know it's not even about his personal life. We know there's something else. That's what we do know. We know there's something else. Okay, so I just wanted to post this video to just say the flip-flopping is incredible. The hypocrisy is incredible. Of course, the amnesia is also incredible. How the fans have very quickly forgotten about 2009 and 2010. Of course, short-term memory. Amnesia. So what do you guys think of the amnesia, which is now very quickly turning into a form of dementia? So that's all I got for this video. I just want to know, what do you guys think about the drug testing amnesia that these people are suffering from? Because it is, of course, a mental illness. That much we all know.
I hear the lick, I'm worth a couple million. Hey, that car meant 400 down, nigga. That top drop like Pacquiao,